It's now my pleasure to welcome the Society's President and CEO, Cyndi Zagieboylo.
Thank you, Eli. I'm so proud to have you as such an incredibly talented and dedicated partner. Your commitment to people living with MS is an inspiration to me and to all of us. Thank you. Our conference theme is Fueling Impact, and I love this concept. But what exactly does it mean? It doesn't refer to the time I walked into a clear glass wall in our New York office. Face first. That's not the kind of impact we want to fuel. Although there was certainly a moment of impact and a hint of a black eye. Fueling impact is when the actions or contributions of one combines with the actions or contributions of others to make something happen, to create something powerful and sustainable. Early in my career, I was responsible for what I thought was shepherding self-help groups. And in those days in Massachusetts, there was a formal network of MS self-help groups called ATOMS, A-T-O-M-S, Association to Overcome Multiple Sclerosis. They were highly organized. The leaders met every other month in person. So picture this. It was my second week on the job. I was 26. My assignment was to reduce printing and mailing expenses by having just one MS Society newsletter in Massachusetts. That meant eliminating the separate newsletter developed for the ATOMS network. Well, suffice it to say, I bumbled my way through this first meeting, which was uncomfortable and a little heated. My messages had been insensitive, and the ATOMS chair, Ed, was generous enough to let me know that. I was aware enough at that time to apologize before the meeting ended, but I left feeling like we had taken a step backward. I did not have a positive impact. The next day, I called Ed and asked if we could have coffee. He graciously agreed. We got together and talked, and I learned about the history of the self-help group he led and about why and how he gathered together the group of leaders from around the state to support each other. Coffee turned into lunch, and I shared my observations that ATOMS seemed separate from the MS Society, disconnected. We agreed that we needed to work together to have broader outreach, to connect with more people throughout the state. So we created a plan together to leverage the MS Society resources and the ATOMS network. Now remember, this was the 1980s. I just gave away my age there, so this was the 80s. And these were the days before the internet. There were no cell phones. Conference calls were unaffordable. So what we had, a telephone, a Rolodex, the US mail, and self-help groups. Ed and I worked together for the next 3 years and expanded the presence of the MS Society throughout the state. We connected people with information and each other at a rate that neither of us could have accomplished without the other. Together, we changed lives more quickly. By working together, we were fueling impact. When we think about people who have significant impact, famous people are who come to mind. But truly having impact is far different from having fame and name recognition. There are people whose names we do not remember and whose accomplishments we take for granted, even though their work has profoundly changed our daily lives. And for every person whose work has created substantial change, when you look a little closer, you find that that person was almost always surrounded by unsung heroes working in concert. More often than not, world-changing accomplishments are the result of collective impact. Remember history class in school. We all learned about Harriet Tubman. Harriet escaped from slavery in Maryland to the free state of Pennsylvania, helped by sympathetic citizens to make the 90-mile journey. She was determined to help other members of her family find freedom, so became the most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad, helping more than 60 members of her family travel to freedom and becoming the face of the anti-slavery movement. She was, without question, a remarkable woman. But the Underground Railroad itself took more than one determined advocate. It was a coordinated group of people who shared a deep belief in ending the injustice and cruelty of slavery. Sometimes whole towns were engaged, but often those involved didn't even know the names of their collaborators. There were distinct roles in the group. The agents helped slaves to learn of the railroad. Conductors provided transit, and station masters ensured safe housing along the way. Stockholders provided money or supplies. And we will never exactly know how many people were involved in this effort, because most operated in secret. But this we do know. Together, this collective, created with intention and driven by commonly held beliefs, ensured the transport of more than 100,000 slaves to freedom. An impact that changed America. Change can begin with just one person, one idea, and then grow into a movement. Those who fuel impact do so through vision and innovation, connecting and even driving the discoveries that lead to another and then another. It only takes a few determined individuals who believe in an idea to plant the seeds for transformational change. So, do you like your new iPhone? Who is responsible for creating the iPhone? Steve Jobs, right? Well, Steve Jobs would never have been able to build any Apple product if it were not for Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce. Not exactly household names. Well, it was Kilby and Noyce who invented the microchip in 1959. Before microchips, there were no laptop computers. We didn't even have pocket calculators. And how about Jimmy Wales? He had a dream, a really big dream. Imagine a world in which every single person on the planet is given free access to the sum of all human knowledge. Wales created the framework, and then the collective contributions of hundreds of thousands of individuals, people from all over the world with diverse expertise in every subject imaginable, made Jimmy Wales' dream become reality. He named it Wikipedia. Wikipedia has 32 million articles, 287 languages, 320 million users, close to 2 billion page edits. In 2006, Time magazine's Person of the Year was the collective of contributors to Wikipedia. Like Jimmy Wales, our founder, Sylvia Laurie, also had a really big dream, a world free of multiple sclerosis. To get there, she created a framework, the National MS Society, and she began to build her collective with a small ad in the New York Times. These small steps launched the MS movement, the collective passion and power of millions of people around the world determined to end MS forever. Every successful collective needs leadership. Leaders fuel progress. And we don't have to look very far to find those people in our movement who fuel impact to change the world for those who live with MS. For a start, look around you. Then, look in the mirror. We are here at this conference because we are leaders. And just as in the Underground Railroad, we share a mission and a bond, and we need each other to succeed. We stand together in solidarity, focused on our shared goals, which overshadow any differences. And as with Wikipedia, we must engage all of those from around the globe who have the specialized expertise we need And this collective power fuels impact in countless ways. In conjunction with this conference, scientists, clinicians, and people with MS are meeting to increase understanding of the vital role of wellness activities and behaviors in people with MS so they can live their best lives. They are discussing the critical role of exercise, diet, and psychological well-being. This group coming together to drive this work forward are in the room today. Show me where you are. Raise your hands. There's about 60 of you from around the country and with various experience. I told you there'd be people who wanted to know who you were, so thank you everyone for applauding that. There's about 60 in the room today with various experience and expertise working to lay the foundation for the nationwide wellness approach. And once we know that approach, everyone in this room will help to take action to realize its fulfillment. When we bring the right people together with a shared goal, we are powerful. We can change the world. And by now, you've figured out that I am especially passionate about the role of self-help groups, or whatever you like to call a group of people who come together to share experiences and information and to care about one another. There are many of these groups in the MS movement, where people come together in person or by phone or online to learn from and support each other, working together to find solutions, to enjoy each other's company, to learn, to be together. These groups span our country, more than 1,200 of them, with 30,000 people engaged. These groups are a focal point for people to connect to information, resources, and each other. Many groups have the same roots, started by people who wanted to get together and learn about living with MS, and they intentionally work to find and share solutions they and others need. These groups have dynamic leadership, and everyone in the group has a job. They reach out to create community change. Our Volunteer of the Year, Yolanda Trigetz, leads one such group. Yolanda experienced that reaching out and connecting with others made her more powerful in adapting to the changes MS brought in her life, and she was determined to share that power. Great leaders understand that impact increases exponentially when it is collective. Great leaders engage others. Our movement grows as others are attracted to us. And people want to be part of progress, to apply their unique talents in ways that truly make a difference. And there are few things in life as powerful as tackling and overcoming big challenges. And that's what we do. When we talk about our work, our commitment to make the world better, others want to join in. We mobilize others, and when we do that, we discover the power of collective impact. People who have lasting impact embrace change. We cannot hang on to old ways and yesterday's successes. A lot of businesses and industries have found that out the hard way. Nokia, with its sleek flip phones that was once the dominant force in mobile telecommunications. Their executives were confident that the new smartphone that hit the market was clunky and expensive. It would just be a passing novelty. There was a time people made a living going door to door selling encyclopedias. And there was a time when photos were only developed in darkrooms and printed on paper. And there was a time when there were no disease-modifying therapies for MS. We have to be ready for change. Not only ready, but we must be the agents of change. We are on the precipice of the most exciting time in our history, poised for unprecedented collective impact. 8,500 clinicians and scientists from all over the world just came together in Boston at the World Congress on MS. Together they learned and shared research ideas and progress. It was the largest MS meeting in history. Studies were presented that challenged the way we think of MS. Can you imagine this? I wish you all could have been there. It was inspiring to be around so many brilliant people speaking lots of different languages and all focused on solving multiple sclerosis. 8,500 of them. And during that meeting, the Progressive MS Alliance, an international group dedicated to accelerating progress for progressive forms of MS, announced 22 innovative grants. Grants that will help pave the way to breakthroughs. It was the first effort of its kind, bringing together MS societies, researchers, and industry from around the globe to collaborate and drive progress in new ways. And the National MS Society is at the forefront of this work. We are challenging assumptions about MS treatment. We are changing the world, working to ensure that those with primary and secondary progressive MS no longer feel left behind. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from Leslie Crutchfield, author of Forces for Good, the 6 Practices of High-Impact Nonprofits. The authors evaluate nonprofit success, not by how much money is raised. Success correlates to lives changed. Impact. We fuel scientific breakthroughs to end MS forever, accelerating progress through global investments, collaboration, and advocacy. We create change wherever it is needed by ensuring the voices of people affected by MS are heard. We influence public and private sector policy at every level. And even though we've fueled tremendous progress, with more people with MS having access to life-changing programs and services than ever in history, there are still complex challenges that need individualized support. We have to work together to figure this part out so that all people affected by MS have access to the life-changing health care programs and services they need to live their best lives. Every person who wants to do something about MS fuels the MS movement and changes the world. And it begins with each of you, the collective we in this room, the leaders of the MS movement. We are the fuel that accelerates the impact. We must be passionate, persistent, and loud. We will not rest until the day when we can declare victory, until MS is no more, until there is a world free of multiple sclerosis. Thank you.